ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, and we are deeply involved in the study of the third chapter, which is nomenclatured and known as the chapter dealing with the concept of Karma Yoga. Why I am paying so much attention to this chapter is, Swamiji said that in this period of our civilization, at this time, Karma Yoga is the best independent and direct means to realization. It is the best methodology, it is independent of each other, and it is direct means to realization. Why did Swamiji say so? He didn't say just because it was a wool-headed idea or he wanted to show off his spiritual wisdom. No. In the Bhagavad Gita we find, in this third chapter, the 19th shloka, Sri Krishna says, Tasmat, in conclusion, in those previous 18 shlokas, he had developed an argument, developed an idea. In the 19th shloka, he's concluding it. Tasmat, as we have read in our school days, QED, that's in geometry, the hypothesis was written, two sides of a triangle are greater than the third side. We did not know head and tail of it. But the teacher, having drawn pictures of two triangles, and then slowly and slowly, taking advantage of our common sense and understanding, talking to us in a language that we understand, he step by step guided our intelligence in such a manner that ultimately we said, yes, two sides of a triangle are greater than the third side, QED. That's the end of it. Similarly, in the previous 18 shlokas, he has placed before you the basic concept of Karma Yoga, saying that in old age there were two concepts, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam, Pura Prokta Maya Naga. That is, there are two methodologies which I have spoken before. One is known Jnana Yoga and the other is known as Karma Yoga. And that Karma Yoga he is developing, distinguishing between what is Karma Bhoga, a subject to our misunderstanding of issues for which I suffer, and Karma Yoga is a methodology following which it is converted into a direct and independent means to realization. He says, Tasmat, now I conclude, Asakta Satatam Karyam Karma Samachara. Asakta, without any attachment, without any expectation of the results of your activity, without being involved in what I am going to achieve or what I am trying to achieve, you continue to perform your duties of work as a pursuer of correctness, thoroughness, perfection, and excellence. If you can do so, and satatam, not an outburst in time, it has to be a continuing, self-imposed discipline. Samacharaha, samyak acharaha. What is samyak? Don't be slipshod. Do it thoroughly, correctly, perfectly, excellently. And he will explain to you why. Let us stop here. These are the 4 qualities in Samyak Achara. This is how you should perform your duties of life. It is a very tall claim. You are asking me to do something which I think is almost impossible, difficult. I am not used to it. I work because I have an ambition. I work because I desire the results of my work. I work hard. As for instance, I am teaching. I am trying to explain to you. If I am not watchful, by general force of habit, I will be expecting you all understand. That is natural. And after the talk is over, someone comes and says, Swamiji, it was excellent. And Swami hits the ceiling. He's so excited and happy. And somebody genuinely comes and says, Swami, it went above my head, I understood nothing. And Swami feels all his efforts have gone down the drain and he drops on mud with a thud. This is karma bhoga. I am doing things in a way that I am a victim of reactions. He says, please come out of this habit. You have been performing your duties of life with this habit. Now come out of this habit. Asatam, satatam, karjam, karma, samachara. Without any attachment, without any expectation, as a pursuer of correctness, thoroughness, perfection, and excellence, that is the meaning of the word samachara, karjam karma. Karjam karma means your duty of life. Why? Why are you say so? What is the return? Asakta hi acharana karma purusha param apnoti. Param apnoti purusha. That is the reading. When you paraphrase it, tasmat, therefore, I now conclude. What is that conclusion? Asakta satatam karjam karma samachara. If you do so, asakta hi acharan purusha, if you ever do so, if you have mastered this art of being a karma yogi, not a karma bhogi, param apnoti, you will reach the sublime goal, manifestation of the divinity, your true original nature within you. You would know who you are. What you know what you are today is a misconception, is a mistaken identity, is a misnomer. You will attain your own true original nature. I am Atma Brahma. That is the intellectual conviction. I am that. And through this discipline, nirashakta, asakta, nispriha karma yogi, you will param apnoti, you will reach that sublime goal of aham brahmasmi, I am that. He says that in the 19th shloka, a part of his statements. Then he develops another type of argument from shloka number 22. At shloka number 20, what does he say? He says, I have been telling you in an argumentative manner, as a teaching, these are the principles of life. You may think that it is all woolly-headed ideas. It is Krishna's brainwave. Can Sri Krishna substantiate what he says today to me as a fact of history before that? Before I am the student? And the 20th shloka says that karmana eva samsiddhi asthita janaka adaya. Adi, plural adaya. Janaka and others and others and others. There are scores of karma yogis. And Janaka was known as Raja cum Rishi, Rajarshi Janaka. He continued to perform the duties of an emperor. You know, he was the emperor of the empire known as Mithila. Mithila Puradipati. He was the emperor of Mithila. He was an emperor, but he was on the other hand a Rishi, Tattvadarshi, Shattvadarshi, Rikdarshi. What does it mean? He had Param Apnoti. He had reached that supreme goal. So, Sri Krishna is substantiating his arguments by quoting examples from history. This is the second aspect. The third aspect is, to our great surprise, he says, look at me. I am the Lord God of the universe. I am born as a human to teach my human children the art of being one with God. That is why I have descended, I have incarnated. Avatarana, avatirna, avatar. That is what an avatar is. I, out of sheer compassion of my children, whom I have made in my own image, but I find, being attracted by the attractiveness of this world through their 5 sense organs, they have forgotten their true original nature and they are getting involved in these small petty things of the world. And I feel very sad for my children. And because of that, out of sheer compassion, I accept this so-called torture of being born a human and going through all the ups and downs of human life. But I never stop setting an example to my children how they should live their life in this world. Samayaya avashtabhya, that is, having total control on my Maya, Mayadhish, Parameshwara, I assume this body. And having assumed this body, I perform my duties of life. But I perform it as a karma yogi, not as a karma bhogi, to set an example to my wayward children. And he says, if I do not run this show, this whole cosmos, this whole thing will come into wrecks and ruins. So I have no business, I have no intention, I have no ambition, I have no attachment. Out of sheer compassion, I am working. What do you speak of you? You also have to educate yourself to transform your life as a karma bhogi to a karma yogi. What is the difference? I've told you umpteen number of times, and I will not stop repeating whenever I get an occasion, because I want it to enter your brains and leave an indelible impression. What is karma yoga? Why? If it is intellectually crystal clear, if it is intelligently rock solid, intellectually rock solid, that conviction will convert itself into an unstoppable motivation. And you will be motivated to be a karma yogi. Why? Because this is the goal that I will achieve. I will be liberated, I will be emancipated, I will be free from the bondage of Maya. Maya adhina, I will become Maya mukta. Jivana mukti sukha prapti hetabe janma dharana. The purpose of being born a human is only one. What is that? To taste the joy of being free while you are in this human body. That is the purpose of being born a human. Though you are a biological creature, though we are though we are a biological creature, but we are the most evolved of the biological creature. And for what purpose? To manifest the divinity which is already within us. This is the purpose of being born a human. Sri Krishna is teaching that. And he says, look, I have no personal axe to grind, but I keep on working. Now, dears, in the present day system of education and understanding, a psychologist would say, unmotivated activity is not possible. And he is true, he is correct, he is right. Without any motivation, without any profit-oriented incentive, I am not going to work. I will only be active if I know this is what I stand to gain. And you say nishkama karma, nishpriha karma, nirashakta karma. Nishkama means without any desire, literally. Nishpriha means without any expectation. And nirasakta means without any attachment. How can I work? You are taking away every motivation from me. You are demotivating me. How can I work? Now here lies the secret which, excuse me, India has perfected. Indian spiritual culture has perfected it. Now let us see. Let us start from the beginning, and as I told you, I am being repetitive, and I'll not stop being repetitive till it has created the indelible impression in your understanding. We have two words, almost in all languages, work and worship. From the psychologist's point of view, what is work? Work is, I am physically involved, physically active. emotionally active, rationally active, and egoistically involved. I am doing, I am feeling, I am thinking, and I am involved in all these activities. I am doing it, my involvement. That is the analysis of work or activity. What is worship? We have defined for ourselves a room with 4 walls where we have some pictures. We say rationally the pictures are symbol of an idea, divine. It is only thin paper, colored, and etc., 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 painted or a piece of tarpaulin. And we rationally activate ourselves and we try to see the divine in that picture. I am rationally involved. Emotionally involved, I feel the presence of the divine here. Physically involved, I bow down, I show incense sticks, and I do all the things that are known as a ritualistic physical activity. That means physical activity is common in work and worship. Emotional activity is common in work and worship. Rational activity is also a common factor in work and worship. My egoistic involvement is also there. Why do I call it worship? Because I am asked to be aware of the presence of the divine in a place of worship. And immediately all my physical, emotional and rational activity turns into worship. It is no more work. So work is 4-dimensional: physical, emotional, rational and egoistic. Worship is also 4-dimensional: physical, emotional, rational, egoistic involvement. There's a 5th dimension, how the work or activity is converted into worship. Awareness of presence of God. The distinction between work and worship is that 5th dimension or 5th denomination, awareness of presence of God converts all my activity into worship. Now, as a Jnana yogi, what do you say? This whole universe appears to be diverse, but in essence, it is a manifestation of the divine. Sarvam khalu idam brahma. All that you see, there is no exclusiveness, all inclusive. All that you see in diversity contained in 4 concepts: Nama, Rupa, Guna, Arthakriya Karita. Name, form, qualities and utilitarian value. But isness is everywhere. It is. To be grammatically correct, I say I am. Existence is everywhere. I am means I am aware I exist. The world is means with all its diversity melts away, isness only remains. It is. So dear, Jnana Marga says The whole cosmos is a manifestation of the divine. A karma yogi, therefore, concludes, why should I see and feel the awareness of presence of divine within the four walls? It is everywhere in the world. The whole world is my place of worship. There's no illogicality in it. There's no fallacy in it. It is absolutely true. So, the karma yogi says, this is my life. Life and activity are synonymous. So, my activity with the awareness of presence of the divine every moment of life, my life's activity can be converted into karma yoga, upasana, worship of the divine. The concept of the word work dissolves into the concept of the word worship. Life becomes an endless worship of the divine. And what is that worship? Perform your duties of life correctly, thoroughly, perfectly, excellently, and offer it to God. This offering it to God is your incentive. I expect nothing from Him. I love Him. I have dedicated my life to Him, and my life is nothing else but an endless worship of the divine. This is what it is. So how to convert the life of a karma bhogi into a life of a karma yogi has now been repeated again and explained to you to help you to convert your day-to-day life without beating your drums, without announcing to the world, silently as silent as a dewdrop, which wets up the whole world. The world doesn't know where the dew falls. Similarly, as humbly, as modestly, as silently, convert your life into an endless worship of the divine and carry on converting your life into an endless worship of the divine. This is how Karma Yoga has been explained. Now we are to study Shloka number 26. From Shloka number 25 to Shloka number 29 is the same subject matter. In 4 shlokas, he approaches it in different manner. Let me start from the 25th and move as fast as I possibly can. Shakta karmani avidvangsha jatha kurvanti bharataha kurjat vidyan tatha asaktaha chikishu loka sangraham. This is the 25th shloka. We have read it very well. Let me quickly revise it. What does it say? Shakta karmani avidvangsha. Avidwan, he who does not know the reality behind the appearance. This world appears to be real, concrete, tangible to me. And we accept it as real because it is perceptible by 5 sense organs. But if you stand aside and look at this world, you will find It is changing every moment. There's no stability. There's no steadfastness. It is ever changing. Kshanikam Kshanikam. That is what Buddha found out. That everything is momentary. The past, the present, and the future. The movement is momentary. To this point is the present, the next moment it has gone into past. The future has become the present, goes to the past. That is what the world is. Avidya means a person who conceives these four concepts as eternal, perennial, real. Name, form, qualities, utilitarian value. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Artha, Kriya, Character. He doesn't go beyond. So, he lives in this world, and as because he doesn't know the reality behind the appearance, he is attached to the world and expects the results from the world. The world can promise you everything, but the world does not have the capacity to fulfill that promise. That has only given to the divine to bless you to fulfill your desire. Kurjat karma vidyangsha jatha kurvanti bharata. Kurjat vidyan. A knower of the self must also perform his duties of life as long as his body is active. Why? Not for any gains anymore. He has achieved it, but to set an example to the people that you are a karma bhogi and look at me, I am a karma yogi. I am above all that, but I have learned the art of performing my duties in a manner where I am absolutely asakta, unattached. Now, why has this been said? Why Sri Krishna introduces this topic by contrasting? The reason is, dear, in this world of ours, there are realized souls. Those who have seen through the ball game and those who have reached that. They can live without the performance of their duties of life because they have achieved their goal. They can sit doing nothing. They have no duties to perform. But that sets a bad example to a lazy loon, a karma bhogi. Here is a person who is doing nothing. He is a karma. I do nothing, I become a karma yogi. No, that is not the procedure. You have to go through the whole range of experience. Karma has to be got rid of by karma bhoga. In our scriptures, there's an axiomatic statement. It's truth. Prarabdham upabhoge naiva apakshiyate nanyatha koti kalpa shatabdi va. Prarabdham. What is prarabdham? Prarabdham is that type of karma phala that you have earned in your previous life, which has started giving result. Karma phala in process. That is known as prarabdha. Sanchita karma, vidagdha karma, prarabdha karma. Sanchita is held in store. Prarabdha that is now being in process of being fruitful. That is our life. We are born with a prarabdha from A to Z. Now that prarabdha upabhoge naiva apakshyate. It can only be wiped out by going through the experience. You can't wish it away, you can't subdue it. It has to be gone through. That means, if you have hurt somebody without any rhyme or reason, just for the pleasure of hurting somebody, that is the karma that you have created. The phala is in store. In this life, somebody with added interest in a greater volume will hurt you without any rhyme or reason and make you suffer. Until unless you suffer, you do not wipe it out. Upabhoge naiva apakshyate. Upabhoge na eva binyogi. Binyogi means there's no other alternative. You have to suffer. But now let me tell you the secret. Say, for instance, because of my past karma, I have earned to be kicked around by people. And I am being kicked around. If I have learned the lessons of my life, I do not react. I do not kick him back. I do not become vengeful. I don't take any revenge. I don't resist. I quietly suffer it out, and I am aware I will not create a further karma for me. I will not react. So, you have suffered out your karma, and because of your non-reactiveness, you have not created any new karma. You are free. You have paid up your debts. You are free from your debt anyway. You are karma yogi. These are the practical aspects of day-to-day life of a karma yogi. This is what he says here. Don't try to imitate a person who have achieved that goal and he takes it easy, moves out of the society, leads his life immersed in the awareness of presence of the divine. Jastu atmarati revasyat atma triptasya manava atmani eva cha santushta tasya karyam na vidyate. We have read it in this chapter before. He who has identified his true original nature, he has no duties to perform. But he has no right to set a bad example to the world. So he should better move out of the society, live alone in hills and dales. If he is to live in a society, kurjat vidyan tatha asaktaha. For a vidyan, the knower of the self, he must perform the duties of life. How? Not for his own personal desire, asakta, sant, loka sangraha. That is, without having any personal act to grind, to set a good example to the people who try to be karma yogi. From karma yogi, he continues to work and sets an example that the total failure does not affect him, or total success does not inspire him. He is inert to the reactions of the world. These 4 shlokas are dedicated to this concept. So let us read the 26th shloka, which we were supposed to start on. Na buddhive janayet ajnanam karma sanginam jojayet sarva karmani vidyan yuktaha samacharan. Na buddhived janayet ajnanam karma sanginam. Now, let me be very, very, very practical and realistic. Say, for instance, any one of you practicing karma yoga, slowly and slowly, suffering your prarabdha without reacting to it. As a karma yogi, you wipe yourself neat and clean and pure. Your prarabdha is wiped out and you do not react while suffering through your prarabdha, whether it is pleasure or pain, whether it's ecstasy or agony. No, I don't react. Why? Because my life is dedicated to the divine. Thy will be done. Nothing more. I don't exist. I have blended my ego into thy greater will. Na buddhi bhedam janayet ajnana karma sangina. A realized soul, he, vidyan, a realized soul, yukta san samacharan. He lives in this world according to his status. He continues to do his duties of life. As because he has no personal axe to grind, his life is dedicated to betterment of others. His life is dedicated to betterment of others. He never lets go an opportunity to perform in this life as a karma yogi, setting an example to others. I will tell you an example, a very old traditional incident that really happened, but it became a traditional tale amongst the Swamis of Rishikesh and Uttarkashi. You know, in that area, in the crack of rocks, it's a rocky, hilly place, in the cracks of rock, the venomous scorpions inhabit. Now, in rain, when the river is in flood, Ganga is in flood, it goes up 10, 12, 15 feet. Because it's a very narrow, it goes up. What happens? Those scorpions are flooded, those creeks are flooded, the cracks on their flood, though they float in water. And they are dying. They try their very best to get hold of something to live. Now a very aged, learned Swami, a Vidwan, he went to the Ganga to bathe. He took an armful of water to offer it to Surya Tarpana. That's a practice. When he looked up, he found a scorpion. Water went down his palms and the scorpion, out of great fear, stung him. And after stinging him, the scorpion fell down. The Shevak, that young Swami, who was looking after the elder Swami, he saw a poisonous scorpion. Please come away, you need to be treated. but he has to do it 7 times. As ill luck would happen, 2 or 3 more scorpions bit him. And he was absolutely reeling and tottering. So the Sevaka went down, pulled him out of the water and tried to cure him. There's a type of stone which you rub and put it on that place of bite. It sucks away the poison. These are all traditional treatments. He somehow or other managed to revive the old man. Then he asked, "Sir, why did you do so? Why don't you protect yourself?" So now listen what he says. "Look, I am a Swami. Whether that scorpion stings me or not, it is my due to help him to revive, to survive and to live. His dharma is to sting. So he does his dharma, and why should I not do my dharma? Jojayet sarva karmani vidwan yukta savachar." This is an example of this statement made by Sri Krishna. Avidwan Purusha, he will continue to serve humanity without any personal axe to grind, without anything that he wants for himself. He will do it for others' welfare, setting an example for a karma bhogi to continue to work as a karma yogi without reacting to the stimulations of this world. This is what a karma yogi, having achieved his mukti, bhakti, whatever, moksha, whatever you call him, he will perform in this life of his, helping others without any personal axe to grind. This is how Sri Krishna tells you that, look, if you, by the grace of the divine, have achieved that place, don't think, as long as the body is, you have nothing to do, you'll be a lazy loon. No, the next duty is to set an example for others. I remember a quote from Swamiji. I may be a little wrong, but the main theme is, Swamiji says, for such a person, I call him a traitor. Within quotes, Swamiji says, I call him a traitor who has achieved his goal of life because of this society, does nothing in return after achieving his goal. I call him a traitor. This is what Sri Krishna has said. Now, Shloka 27 and 28. It is another type of argument which is good that we listen. From the Shloka number 29, it will be a new section of discussion. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasa ahankara vibhudatma karta iti aham madhyate. Why are we, instead of being told so many times, why do we continue to remain a karma bhogi? Why? One cause is prarabdha, and that prarabdha is in the domain of Maya. So Sri Krishna says here, look, my dear child, The whole world moves because of that cosmic energy that Parameshwara has, known as Maya Shakti, Avidya Shakti, Ajnana Shakti. The whole universe, including the slightest movement. Sri Ramakrishna went to the extent of, without the will of God, a leaf in a tree does not swing. Without the will of God, Prakriti. That is how Sri Ramakrishna wanted to convince us. I am the doer, I am the doer, I want this, I do not want this, is a product of gross ignorance of the facts of life. This is what Sri Krishna says in shloka number 27. Prakriti kriyamanani gunah karmani sarvasa. The whole cosmos, materially, ideologically, and from the point of view of cosmic energy, it is run by Maya, Avidya Shakti, Ajnana Shakti, Prakriti. 4 words mean the same thing. And who runs it? Parama Ishvara or Parama Ishwari. If you can think of the divinity as a fatherhood of the divine, what stops you from thinking as a motherhood of the divine? So in India, Parameshwara and Paramashwari are the same, easy to understand. She or he runs the show. Ahankara Vimudhatma, a person who is totally confounded and confused, totally under the grip of ignorance, thinks, I am the doer. And Karma Yogi thinks all that is happening is God's will. All I have to do is to perform the duties of my life correctly, because I have an ego or willpower, correctly, thoroughly, perfectly, excellently, and offer it to him. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. This is how Sri Krishna explains the 27th shloka. The 20th shloka is by contrast. Ahankara Vimudhatma makes this mistake. Tattavittu mahabaho gunah karmani vibhagasaha gunah karmani vibhagayo guna guneshu vartante iti matva na visanchate. He says, but on the other hand, I have explained to you ahankara vimudhatma karma bhogi, what is his state, where he goes wrong. I have explained to you. Now, to make it very clear, by contrast, I will tell you what is a realized soul's activity like. Guna karma vibhagayoho. He knows Trigunatmika Maya, Satta, Raja, Tama. In matter and in idea, in energy. There are 3. Infinite permutation, combination of these is what the flow of life is. Iti matva na anushanjati. Knowing that full well, how does it know? No, not intellectually. He knows it intellectually first. And after that intellectual conviction, he is motivated to experience it within him. Ayamatma Brahma, aham Brahmasmi. Ayamatma Brahma is intellectual. Aham Brahmasmi is experiencing. So Mattva here means experiencing. Guna guneshu vartante iti Mattva, having experienced that, na avisanchate. He does not get involved. This is how Sri Krishna in great detail explains to us what is Karma Yoga and how it is to be first understood, and then with an unshakable, rock-solid discipline, you transform your personality with that intellectual conviction and experience it. Without experience, it remains in the domain of talking tongue. The next shloka number 29, he again mentions what a karma yogi should do, because he has been a karma bhogi first. From there he goes on to karma yogi. He knows how he has gone. Knowing that full well, he continues to help a karma bhogi how to become a karma yogi by setting an example of correctly performing the duties of life. This is shloka number 29, and with that, this aspect will close. Thank you, dear. Thank you for today. We will meet again next Sunday and carry on. Now he would explain to you in the next shloka what is it meant by awareness of presence of God to be a karma yogi who can convert the concept of work into a concept of worship. The 30th shloka will start on that subject. Thank you, dear. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna